Hey everyone, and welcome to a brand new series on the channel. This is going to be this Wetlands Dome over here, and if you are excited for the series just as I am, stick with me. Alright, welcome to the first episode of my brand new series called the Wetlands Dome. If you guys have been on the channel around the time of the aquatic DLC 1.5 years ago, then you know that my passion for domes is not dying out that quickly, and after a couple of different series we are back with a dome, only this time to build a Wetlands Dome. And there are a couple of intentional things I did, potentially very different from others, simply to, first of all, set this series apart from all the other series that I have running. Second of all, this is going to be the direct replacement for Hirschegg, which is ended for the moment, and this Wetlands Dome hopefully is going to carry on until the next DLC and maybe even further into the future, depending on what the next DLC is going to give us. Maybe also as a little note to you guys, I kind of try to do it that way now. From DLC to DLC, we are going to run a new mini-series, just as the size of a dome or like a Hirschegg, for example, or whatever is going to, be, suitable. And then we have our, our main series, Yosemite Valley, which is always going to be continued, not in the frequency that it has been, but it is sticking with us. And we are also going to have a realistic habitat every now and then. Speaking of which, tomorrow is going to be the next realistic habitat for you guys, which is going to be the small clawed otter. So put that into your calendars. We're going to start the small clawed otter realistic habitat tomorrow, and oh boy, that has been a struggle. Anyways, let's talk about this specific dome, and I really hope that you guys stick with me throughout the entire video, not only to boost the algorithm, but also to listen to me, because that is going to be a very exciting series in terms of a lot of things that I haven't done in the past and I want to do now. So we are going to have a slightly different structure to the dome this time. You've seen the concept in the beginning. Unfortunately, I haven't recorded the process of drawing it, but I will do this more often in the future. As promised, the members of the channel will get previews of that every now and then, and I'm going to include the concepts into my videos now more often. That said, it's not going to happen like every single time, but I'm really willing to make it more often so that you get a better idea of how I'm planning my things ahead. Now, for this specific case, this dome idea came to my mind when I was checking my old videos. I remember that I built a dome in the beta where we only had one map available, and that was this desert grassland biome. Now, I haven't been playing in this one too much other than Tiny Zoo, but the Tiny Zoo was a completely different challenge. Now, the reason why I'm going to do this Wetlands Dome in a deserty area is kind of a different story behind that. Now, the animals that came with the Wetlands Pack DLC are most likely, tending towards a more rainforest vibe. The thing about this is, if we go through these animals, we've got the capybara, which is obviously South American rainforest. The small clawed otter is actually Bornean, or the kind of area of Borneo, which is also where the orangutans live. And then you have also, obviously, that's also a bit more rainforest. And then we've got the platypus, which is also more rainforest. And all these kind of things together have a lot more tendency towards the rainforest. However, there are also a couple of other things like for example, the caiman that could go into a grassland like this, or also the lechu, however this is called, or the wild water buffalo. So kind of the not so famous animals of this pack. And the crane, obviously, even though it is again one more animal that comes from Asia and is a bit more likely to be more, rainforesty vibing, it could also go in here. But then again, we also have a lot of other animals that are semi-aquatic that could also go together with those animals. So we can make like an African area and a rainforest area. And this is exactly what we are going to do with this series. So we are going to have this wonderful dome, which is going to feature a platypus ponds, that is today's episode, in the center of it. We are going to have like a child area with a lot of playground assemblies and stuff like that, which is going to be exciting. I have some ideas that I haven't done in the past, so this will be brand new as well. And I'm going to do one gigantic mixed habitat, because with the capybara there comes a brilliant interspecies enrichment you know, for the game that goes together with the orangutans and other animals as well, which I am going to do because that is going to be fantastic. And I can't wait to show that to you in the future. It's not done yet. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to build that far ahead. I wanted to have like a couple of episodes recorded, but I ended up with one episode, which is already a summary of 2. I planned to do this 2 episodes and wanted to just make the first episode that you're looking at right now a dome build only, but I ended up doing the platypus instead as well because, you know, we want to see animals and I want to have animals in. So I ended up doing that, and this is what we did. So yeah, you can see I'm also working a little bit on the structure, putting some, you know, little ponds and stuff in already. Most likely this is just done to, you know, get the idea of where the whole structure is going, and you can already, you know, expect this to change quite a bit in the future. This is just a bare bone structure, and I will also, you know, get some more details into the outside, but I'm not willing to do it quite yet, because I need to see first of all where the whole thing is going. I don't have a like 100% you know, fixed plan yet to how it should look. There is just a very brief idea in my head, other than the structure of the dome. Nothing else was in my brain, you know, so that is just what I did. And yeah, but the one thing I wanted to do already is to put some little you know, ponds already to the outside, which we're going to use for maybe flamingos, I don't know, or maybe the crane, or maybe this is going to be the caiman. Again, I don't really have a fixed idea of what we're going to do here quite yet, but expect this to be different. Expect this to be a little bit of a more widespread approach, especially of the pathing, and especially of how I'm going to approach the overall build. You can see this is already the first thing I did, is just changing the color pattern of the lower, you know, concrete layer, just to make sure it looks better. And then I went on doing some little detailing here on the Wetlands Dome entrance, because that's what we are looking at most likely. And so we are doing this, you know, and honestly, I was quite happy with how that all turned out. The structure and the overall form factor of the dome is a little bit different from what I've done in the past, and so I wanted to give it the proper lighting and stuff already at the beginning, because I will most likely forget about that later on anyway. So, you know, here we go. And then what we are doing now is we are setting up a little bit of a, I don't even want to call it structure, it's just a little placement of ideas, let's put it that way, into where we put these things. Before I'm going to talk about the platypus ponds, which we are going to have a better look at in the real-time part anyways, I wanted to take the moment to talk briefly about the channel and the future and blah blah blah. Sometimes, you know, I give this idea to you. There are things happening in our life. I'm not quite ready to talk about them yet, but maybe there's a bigger change upcoming, who knows. It's a bit cryptic here, but I can't talk about this quite yet, which will also mean some significant but positive changes to the channel, which is good. And I'm going to talk about that when time is there. But the other thing is, you know, that this year for me personally is the focus to reach 100k. Not sure if I can do so. The sub growth lately has been a little bit slower than usual, which is the normal time of the year, so there is nothing, you know, specifically bad about this, and also it just seems that my channel has a hard time converting the viewers into subs. It's just like if I look at the views from new people, you know, you can always see how many new people watch the videos, and then you see how many people sub. It's just not that good, but you know what, I just really don't care too much about this. It's really, I enjoy making these videos so much, and I enjoy the feedback a lot, and so this is why I really would ask you guys not to subscribe to the channel. If you want to, you're very welcome to do so, but more importantly, I really would love to see you guys commenting on this video what you think about this project in specific and what you want to see in the Wetlands Dome. And please think outside the box of the Wetlands DLC. Think what we have in the game and what we can achieve. This would be amazing. Please let me know what you would love to see in the Wetlands Dome. Do you know a Wetlands Dome maybe that is from your area where you're living, and that you like a lot, and where we can draw some ideas from? Or is there a specific animal that is already in game that you would love to see in here. Or maybe there is an animal that we don't have in game yet, which we could make an implied habitat for, or find a mod. Didn't say that, but you know, this would be super interesting for me, and I would love to read through all of these comments. So please, if you have the chance, sit down and let me know what you would love to see in this dome, and in terms of animals, in terms of buildings, maybe in terms of architectural styles, because this Platypus ponds over here is not really setting the style too much, because I intentionally kept it rather natural and open, simply to leave myself a bit space in terms of architectural exploration. We will have one thing though that I'm going to do in a bit. It's like a little fence design, which we're doing in a couple of seconds. Which I'm quite happy about. It turned out better than I expected, and you know, these things are my most beloved things that turn out better than expected. So yeah, as you can see, I'm putting some platypus in just to get the traversable area. That's the first thing I always do in these types of habitats. When I make them as open and nicely, you know, put into here, I most likely do it that way, because it just helps the most. And this is what I'm just talking about. I'm just going to do a tiny little bamboo styled you know, kind of fence, and I think this is definitely one thing I'm going to take through the whole build, because it is just this vibe that I imagine that you have when you're in a wetlands dome like that. You will need to have some visible barriers, but you want to keep it as natural as possible, and so this could be like a fake bamboo kind of wall that you use to separate habitats from each other, but still make it look somewhat good. I really would love to see some good old bamboo sticks like that in the game, like a proper foliage piece, like a proper plant piece. That would be great without the actual blooms on it, or flowers. Do you call them flowers? I don't know. And then I'm using a little trick on, actually I have to say I'm abusing or stealing a trick that Lighter, again, who else did, and this is pretty cool. It's like using the decals and just making them look exactly as the color that you have from the ground, and then it looks like as if you have little puddles. That is just something really ridiculously good looking, and I ended up doing that. And then again, we just do a little different fence design. I think this is something that you always have to do at the beginning of these kind of builds. Just explore yourself with doing some fence designs, and then you can carry those through if you want to. I just took that one here as a little design, used some rocks to, you know, fence it off, and then just making sure that we use some bamboo here and there, and just making everything look a bit more natural, a bit more nice. And honestly though, I gotta say, it just really looks very good at the end. Mixing all these things together just look good. The platypus cannot escape anymore, which is great. And then I just did some adjustment of the terrain painting, simply because I wanted to make it as realistic as possible here. So maybe I'm even trying to get all the habitats conservation wise ready for the animals. And as you can see, I'm also putting some trees on, because the dome is ridiculously big, which was their overall target to achieve here. And so yeah, it is an enormous structure, and I'm willing to say that this wouldn't be a dome that is within a zoo. This would be a zoo on its own. This would be like a proper conservation dome that could be somewhere in the grasslands of Africa. So and that is then effectively the only chance why they could house animals like the platypus or the otters, or in fact the orangutans later on in here, because in a deserty zoo you wouldn't have them, because they're just, these animals would just like burn from the dry air rather than having the tropical climate. I mean, if it is going to be a bit more to the African rainforest, that would work, you know, but we are not. We are in a grassland area, so I assume that wouldn't. Anyways, this is it for the voiceover. Hope you guys enjoyed this for today. I certainly enjoyed this quite a lot. This is going to be an ambitious project, as always, but I'm very much looking forward to sharing more with you in the future. Again, I haven't built anything yet, and I'm on holidays now, so you can comment the hell out of it, and then I'm gonna take that into consideration when I'm back. But now let's jump over. Alright, so we're in the real-time part, and you can see the wonderful view at the Wetlands Dome here in front of you. So this is the entire structure, while we can actually just take that here briefly and move that away out of sight, because that just took the side of us. And then we can also, you know, just make sure that this path over here is going to be continued. In fact, while looking at that, might be nicer to have like a different ground pattern. I don't know, maybe we're going to be a bit more, how to say, encouraged this time to use something else. I don't know. I'm just going to go with the normal concrete path first of all, just kind of making that a little bit longer here before we show you actually around. I wanted to have this, yeah, that looks a bit better. If you look from over here, that looks kind of cool with like the trees in there, and you know, just making sure that this everything looks good. And then we can go inside of the Wetlands Dome, and boom, you're greeted by this bridge, and it's quite a spacious area in here. You can definitely tell. And then once we go over the bridge, this is the Platypus area, the Platypus ponds, and then you go here. It's all, you know, not too crazily fenced off. You can see this is where the little puddles are. Quite like the idea that Lighter invented there. And then you also have this little hidden pond where they can go and have a little swim in. And just in general, I think this is a very nice little spacious area for them to, you know, enjoy their time in. And once you just go up this little pathway over here, you can see this. They have the little burrows in which they can hide. There's like a little one, you know, swimming around. And I'm just like a really big fan of how this all works in the game. There's another burrow, by the way, just making sure that everything looks good. Everything looks just kind of how it should. Look at that. I love the view from over here with like the tree, and it just all looks good. I guess that it really works well together, like with the stones, and then you've got the underground viewing over here. But I don't want to spend too much time on this, because the reason for that is that I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Is that wait, I think this is good. I think this view over here deserves more attention. There you go. This is kind of nice. Yeah, it's always going to be a struggle to see what the best angle is with the sun and so on. We always have the same issue with these kind of dome builds, that the sun position is going to be a stressful thing to keep in mind. I tried my best to make it in a position that we always have the sun at least in a good angle, but we gotta see. Now, one thing I wanted to quickly show you is I'm just going to put in capybara so you can see the interspecies enrichment, and you can see it goes together with the Barrett's tapir, the Colombian white-faced capuchin monkey, the Galapagos tortoise, the giant anteater, and the llama, which is pretty dang cool. So we can mix them all together. And if we go to the orangutan, you can see it goes together with the Malayan tapir and the Asian small-clawed otter. So what we're going to have is we are going to have a capybara habitat, which is going to feature, maybe not all of them, but at least it's going to feature the tapir, the anteater, and also the Colombian white-faced capuchin monkey, which is kind of cool. And then we are also going to have the orangutan habitat with exactly those two. So that's going to be very exciting. I really like that. And then we also have the wild water buffalo, which goes together with the Malayan tapir as well, and the Indian rhino. I think we're not going to have anything connected with those. But what about the crane, by the way? The crane goes together with the macaques. I think that's something we don't do because of the temperatures. Might not do this, but yeah, I'm really excited to really build a nice dome, and I'm really excited also to hear from you guys what you think we should do with the dome. The caiman obviously goes in as well, but this one does not really share its habitat too often. So yeah, I guess that's it. All I wanted to show you for the moment. But it's going to be very, very exciting. I'm really, really, really looking forward to all of this. Just one more thing, just showing to you the, the traversable area. Actually, I'm willing to see if I can get them up here. This would be cool to have like a little spot on which they can go. Let me just quickly try to fix that in real time with you guys. If we just rotate that a little and almost create like this little ramp here. Can we get them up here? That would be nice. Like we have a little ramp. Hello, little platypus. Where are you? There you go. Wait, no, that is the structure. There you go. Incubator MRSR. Okay, well, that's not. Oh, look at that. They can go up there. Beautiful. Okay, let's put some enrichment up there. Platypus, and then we can. Yeah, I mean, this kind of thing is always good to have because it just really looks almost like as if it's in a rock. We can actually put that a little lower, and then we just adjust the color to a little bit less saturated one. There can be, yeah, that's almost the perfect color. Look at that one. Having that up here might make them get here. Excuse me? Died from injuries. Oh well, I haven't done the yeah. Well, it's okay. I mean, I haven't done the sandbox settings yet because I wanted to see how they could do in this habitat. I should maybe do at least the non-dying option. I think that would be a good idea. Anyways, guys, that's it. I really hope you just enjoyed this first episode of the Wetlands Dome and you are also as excited as I am for the future of this project. There's not much more to say than have a good time, stay safe everyone, and until the next one.